Time is 6:02. It's a day many have been waiting for. 3 years after Patrick Lyoya was killed during a traffic stop, the former Grand Rapids police officer who pulled the trigger heads to trial, charged with second-degree murder. 13 on your side's Emily Scarlett is live this morning outside of the Kent County Courthouse in downtown Grand Rapids, where opening arguments are now just hours away. Emily, good morning to you.
Tanner, good morning. And as you can see, we're starting to see a crowd growing here outside the Kent County Courthouse with doors expected to open in less than 30 minutes at around 6:30 this morning. You remember about an hour ago, we only saw one or two people. Well, that crowd has certainly started to grow. We've also seen a somewhat of a large police presence, obviously no lights or anything like that, but it's been clear seeing them circle around the Kent County Courthouse. Now, as you mentioned, opening arguments are expected to start this morning. That's at 8:30. That's what time court is expected to start every day. And this is a story that we've been following from the very beginning. It was actually a Monday morning, April 4th of 2022, that then GRPD officer Christopher Schurr stopped a car being driven by 26-year-old Patrick Lyoya. Now, we later learned that police would say that car had a license plate not registered to the car. That was the reason for the stop. Police say Lyoya disregarded commands, getting out of the car and trying to run. Many have seen what happens next over and over from the body cam footage released by police. The two get into a struggle, which ends with Lyoya shot in the back of the head and killed. Now, this investigation was turned over to Michigan State Police. Schur's defense team filing several appeals claiming the former officer deserved immunity, but that latest effort was denied by the Michigan Supreme Court back in December. Now, there are a number of factors that make this fatal officer involved shooting more complex. There's the issue of race and also questions surrounding excessive force by law enforcement. We expect to get a better idea of what direction each side will go in as opening arguments get underway here. Again, that starts at 8:30 this morning. We also know that the defense has about 40 different witnesses available to call, 11 for the prosecution, though that doesn't mean all of those witnesses will be called. Back to you all.
All right, Emily, thank you. Yeah, you bring up a lot of really good questions that will be asked in this case. Another question that I want to ask you about is the language barrier. Was there a language barrier between Patrick Lyoya and Christopher Schurr?
Well, it's something that we cannot answer for sure, but we do know that the Lyoya family came here from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Peter Lyoya, Patrick's father, telling 13 on your side that they left that Central African country looking for better opportunities and a safer life. But we don't know whether or not there was actually a language barrier, though there have been questions surrounding whether or not that could have played a role in what happened in that fatal traffic stop. We know that Patrick Lyoya's parents continue to use an interpreter to speak with members of the public and members of the media. So again, those questions are still unanswered at this time. We should know later this morning whether or not that will play a part in this case, with opening arguments again getting underway here shortly at 8:30 this morning. Live from downtown Grand Rapids outside the Kent County Courthouse, Emily Scarlett, 13 on your side.
All right, Emily, thank you for your reporting. Now, in the 3 years since Patrick Lyoya died, the public has been speaking out. Of course, some calling for justice for Christopher Schurr, others calling for justice for Patrick Lyoya. This was a protest in downtown Grand Rapids yesterday afternoon. That group you're looking at right now marched from the courthouse to the Grand Rapids Police Department. Of course, we are expecting more people to continue to gather outside the courthouse today. 13 on your side's Aaron Sullivan joining us live from the newsroom with a breakdown of both sides. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning, Tanner. Yeah, while the public has been vocal about their support of either side, both legal teams have been limited. Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker has not done an interview about the case since he filed a second-degree murder charge in June of 2022. And while the attorneys for Christopher Schurr have shared statements over the past 3 years, they've only done a handful of interviews actually on camera. But we have spoken to both groups on both sides about the evidence presented.
He did everything he could, up to and including non-lethal tools, to try to just safely take this man into custody. He told him to stop 7 times.
I don't care if he had 100 warrants. He was not a threat. He was running away.
Defense has appealed this case several times over the past 3 years. The state Supreme Court ultimately ruling, though, that there is enough evidence to send it to trial. When they announced the charges 3 years ago, the Kent County prosecutor said he would have filed charges if he could not prove them to a jury. And again, opening arguments are at 8:30 this morning. Tune in to 13 on Your Side for continued coverage. In the newsroom, Aaron Sullivan, 13 on Your Side.
Aaron, thank you. Now, a judge has issued a court ruling on how media can cover this case. So here's what you need to know if you plan on following this case very closely. The stream that you can watch must be on a 30-minute delay, which means the trial begins at 8:30 every day, but you will be able to start watching it at 9. A media room has also been created, as no reporters will be allowed inside the actual courtroom. On 13 Plus, starting from 8:30 until our trial stream begins, Lauren Baker will give an overview of what is expected to happen on that day. In breaks, we will have experts as well as reporters inside the media room and outside the courthouse breaking down testimony and reaction. It's all in our streaming app 13 Plus. You can download on your TV and watch for free.